Welcome to Star Expose. If you love celebrity news and real entertainment updates, you're in the right place. Being together isn't the only aspect of love. Sometimes, love is about finding your way back, again and again, no matter how far apart life takes you. That's exactly what Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos reminded the world when they recently opened up about their relationship. Their confession didn't just surprise fans, it inspired them. When Kelly said, "If we ever got divorced, we'd end up back together," it wasn't just romantic. It was raw, funny, and real. Because, let's face it, in a world where celebrity marriages often crumble under pressure, how could two people be so sure that their hearts would always find their way home? But that's what makes their story so special. This isn't just another Hollywood love story. It's about two people who didn't just fall in love. They grew in love. Through time, through trust, through chaos, through the quiet moments in between. Their love story began in 1996, the year of big hair, boy bands, and soap operas. They met on All My Children, two young stars with wild energy and undeniable chemistry that not even the cameras could fully capture. It wasn't long before that on-screen spark spilled into real life, and instead of planning a big Hollywood wedding, they did something straight out of a rom-com. One morning, they just packed their bags, hopped on a plane, and said, "Let's go to Vegas." No paparazzi, no guest list, no fancy dress, just two people who knew, without a doubt, they were meant for each other. Kaylee later laughed about it, saying, "We didn't even tell anybody. We barely made it out alive." To some, it might sound reckless, but to them, it was fate. The kind of impulsive decision that only feels reckless when it's not real love. But as everyone knows, the wedding is the easy part. It's the years after that truly define love. Decades followed, filled with children, work, fame, and those tiny cracks that slowly creep into even the strongest relationships. They had their fair share of misunderstandings, silent moments, and doubts. Kelly admitted there were times she thought they might be out of style. Mark confessed he struggled with jealousy. Not the typical kind, but the kind that comes from loving someone constantly in the spotlight. And who could blame him? Kelly was juggling motherhood, fame, and an entire morning talk show. Still, despite all the tension, one thing never changed. They kept choosing each other. Kelly once said, "There were years when we didn't even like each other that much, but we always loved each other." That honesty, that's not weakness, it's strength. Because sometimes love isn't about fireworks, it's about endurance. It's about staying when it would be easier to go. And that's what they did. They stayed. They grew. They changed. And they kept finding their rhythm again. Mark once compared marriage to dancing. He said, "You step on each other's toes, but you laugh it off. You forgive, and you keep moving. That's what keeps the rhythm alive." Their story reminds us that love doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. But here's where it gets even more beautiful. After nearly 30 years together, Kelly and Mark were asked in an interview what would happen if they ever split up. Without missing a beat, Kelly said, "We'd end up back together." Mark just nodded. No hesitation, no laughter, just pure belief. Because after building a family, a home, and a lifetime of memories, they know something deeper. Their hearts simply belong to each other. Kelly said it perfectly. "Our hearts know each other too well. We've run out of alternatives." That's the kind of love that time, fame, and distance can't touch. The kind of love that bends but never breaks. But what's truly refreshing about them is that they don't sugarcoat it. They're open about the messy, complicated parts. Mark once admitted that during the busiest years of their careers, their marriage came dangerously close to falling apart. He said, parallel lives start to emerge. You lose track of the small details. You forget to check in. And that's where most love stories fade out. But theirs didn't. Instead, they learned to laugh again. They rebuilt their connection, not through grand gestures, but through humor, friendship, and honesty. Kelly and Mark have always believed that laughter is their secret weapon, and it shows. Whether on talk shows or red carpets, their playful teasing and cheeky banter always light up the room. Their chemistry isn't just about attraction, it's about friendship, the kind that keeps you grounded when everything else feels chaotic. They don't just love each other, they like each other. They're teammates, best friends, co-conspirators in this wild adventure called marriage. Kelly once joked that their relationship works because they never take themselves too seriously. And Mark just smiled, saying, "She's the funniest person I know." Even after all these years, they still flirt, they still tease, and they still look at each other like it's day one. That's rare, especially in Hollywood. But maybe that's what makes them different. Because while other couples are busy chasing the picture-perfect marriage, Kelly and Mark are busy living a real one that includes arguments, laughter, parenting struggles, career highs and lows, and above all, grace. They've learned to grow together, but also separately. Kelly said, "We grew up together and we grew separately." And that might just be their secret. They didn't try to hold on to who they were in 1996. They embraced who they've become, individually and as a couple. They've changed, evolved, stumbled, and started again, always finding new versions of each other to fall in love with. It's that flexibility, that willingness to evolve that keeps their bond alive. And at the center of it all, communication. The simple, difficult, beautiful act of being honest. Kelly and Mark have often talked about how crucial communication is in their marriage. They don't hide things. They don't pretend everything's perfect. They argue. They listen. They learn. Kelly even mentioned that they have non-negotiables, boundaries and agreements that keep their relationship healthy and respectful. It's a reminder that love isn't just about romance. It's about discipline, about making the choice every day to keep showing up. When their fans heard their confession that even if they divorced, they'd get back together, the internet couldn't get enough. Social media lit up with comments like, "That's the kind of love I want, messy, real, and unbreakable." Because in a time when relationships feel disposable, their story gives people hope. Kelly and Mark remind us that love isn't about never fighting. It's about fighting for each other. It's not about avoiding change. It's about embracing it. And it's not about forever. It's about always finding your way back. Maybe that's why people adore them, because their love story isn't perfect. It's real, funny, flawed, and deeply human. They've redefined what it means to be soulmates, not as two halves of a whole, but as two whole people who keep choosing each other again and again. So if you've ever wondered what lasting love looks like, maybe it's not in grand gestures or fairy tales. Maybe it's in the quiet mornings, the inside jokes, the shared struggles, and the promise to return even when life pulls you apart. Kelly and Mark's story isn't about the fantasy of love. It's about the practice of love, the art of laughing when you could cry, of forgiving when you could walk away, and of saying, "Let's try again," even when it's hard. And maybe that's the real magic. Not just staying together, but always finding your way back home. Because at the end of the day, some hearts simply belong together. Always have, always will. Thanks for watching Star Expose. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next big story.